Hey everyone, thanks for tuning in to Lightfoot Effects. Today I want to compare two pedals. I have the JHS Kilt version 2 and the JHS Kilt version 1 here with me today. I originally got the 2. I just got the 1 because I've read people say that it sounds better. I want to see if it's worth the hype and if it's worth the price that they're going for on Reverb. They're going for like between $400 to $600 right now just because he doesn't make them anymore. You can still get the new ones brand new for like, can't remember if they're $200 or if they're $250. It's somewhere like that when you buy them new. Yeah, I just want to see if it's really worth keeping the V1 or if I should flip it because I can get what I need out of the V2 possibly. Today we're going to be playing the Veritas Portlander with Lindy Frail and humbuckers. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to have these two going in clean. I'm going to turn off the compressor. I'm going to make sure the delay is off. The reverb is turned off. So there should be nothing affecting the tone except for, you know, some of the pedals I might be passing through that are not true bypass. Like I think the Vertex boosts and then the Pog, these have like buffers in them and a few others, but it's good enough. We'll be able to hear how they both sound. There's going to be nothing altered between them. It'll just be whatever my cables add and the buffers, but they should each have the same thing going in. Going out, I don't think it makes a difference. So right off the bat, here's my clean tone without the compressor on. This is with all my pedals off. We are going to start with the Kilt version 2, which I already have set up. This is how I usually use it, just on as like a stage 2 overdrive. Now the G2 set to the bottom and the G1 set to the bottom, and then I have it set to flat. So we're going to do the same thing here. G1's at the bottom, G2's at the bottom, and it is set to the flat mode. And then the yellow side is what I have set to the gain right now. You can switch the order with this. I have the gain going after the boost. So I'm going to try and get it pretty close to where my other one is. And then we'll go by sound to try and get them to sound the same. I'm getting a much higher sound out of the Kilt version 2. I don't know how well that's going to translate through the recording. With the monitors, I'm hearing like a more of a harsh brightness out of the version 1. Let's see, here's version 2. Here's version 1. Here's version 2. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to try and get them to sound the same. I'm going to take the tone down a bit. Let's see. I'm still hearing the bright sound. Alright, right here is where I feel like they're getting close. That tone knob is so dialed in differently. That's the first part I'm noticing. Also, when I push this button, you might see that it's pulling up as Benson. That's just because the Benson preamp was here. I haven't changed the name, but the Mastermind switcher isn't giving any different settings for this pedal. Like there's no buffer on one and not on the other, for example. That's about as close as I can get them, to be honest. The tone knob doesn't go in between there, it seems, kind of to where the version 2 is. The version 2 is a little darker than the version 1. Still a tad bit brighter. It might feel a little more open. So on mine, I have the G2 set up on the red remote. That's what it controls. So it's flipping that to give it more gain. I'm gonna compare the red side now. to having the G2 on. Let's see what that does. I just wanted to make sure that was working. Looks like it is. Okay, now we have them both on high gain mode. The version 2 sounds a little bit higher in the highs, so I just compensated a little bit on the version 1. All right, let's max out the gain. Let's see how far they can each go. As you can see on both of these, I have the gain only about a quarter of the way up. There's a lot more that it can do. This can get into like rat territory when you max out a rat, where it gets almost to a fuzz. So like, let's crank the gain up on both of these, and we'll see how it sounds. Kilt 2, Kilt 1. They both are very, very similar. The feel, I feel like the version 1, it might be true what people are saying, where it feels a little bit more open. And what makes the openness, I think, is having more highs on it. When you have a little more top end, it can give you the illusion of being more open without being too piercy, of course. The one thing with the V1 is obviously this side is a boost. I can change the order. I can swap the sides by flipping the switch. I believe this is the JHS bomb boost, I think it was. Or forgive me if I called that wrong. But anyways, yeah, there's a boost in there. The boost is not in this pedal. They took the approach to integrate the red remote, which I kind of like because I can just switch between two pedals almost. Where on this one, I'd have to manually click one side off or one on, or I can make it so this side stacks. So this doesn't have a boost in it at all. It's just literally switching the gains. This makes no difference because the red remote's controlling it. But if I unplug the red remote, you can switch it with that. Let's just play around with the 1 real quick. I'm gonna switch it back around to where I had the gain. I like it around here. And then I'm just gonna play it with the boost as well. And then let's turn on the boost. And the boost is gonna be after, or it's gonna be before the drive. So the boost is gonna go into the overdrive, making the overdrive hit harder, as if I have more input from the guitar. So here it is without the boost. Here's the clean tone again. Here it is with it on. And then here it is with the boost. That's with the boost on. It can go pretty dang high. We can run the boost by itself. This will make it hit the amps harder. The more I turn up the boost, the harder it's going to hit the universal audio amp sims. That's just a boost right now. I'm not going to change the order because I wouldn't do that. That would just swap the order of boost and gain. It's just something I wouldn't use for this pedal personally. There's so many other demos of the V1 to be honest, so you could check those out. Having the boost is pretty cool, but to be honest, I essentially do almost the same thing with the version 2 with the red remote. Instead of having a boost, I'm using it to increase the gain as if I'm pushing it with a boost. So if we go into here, if I go to the version 2 and I play, that's how it sounds on its first stage of overdrive, and then switching it to the red side gives it even more gain. Which is almost the same as if I'm hitting it with a boost. Not quite, but similar. It makes it heavier and hit harder. So what we'll do is we'll compare sides. I'll compare as if I am turning the boost on and off with the Kilt version 1. Now, I'm going to try something similar with the version 2. We'll go back and hear it again without the boost. And then of course I could make it hit harder to give it more gain. Now here's the version 2. The only downside with the way I'm doing it is I can't control how much gain I get when I switch it to the red side. The version 1 wins in that scenario, I think, because if you want, you can make the jump from clean to heavier a lot more drastic by controlling the boost here. Let's put them through the test. I want to see how they sound with the compressor on. And we'll just run it through some pedals. Try that same riff with the version 1. Now we'll try it with the boost on, as if I were switching it to higher gain, like the Kilt version 2. Now we're going to do big open chord test on both. Let's test it on the Kilt version 1 now. Big open chord test. Honestly, these pedals are so close to the same. I don't understand the hype at all. Sorry, JHS fans. I am going to stick with the version 2. I can't justify the price. I'm probably, in fact, not probably, I'm going to sell the version 1. I think there's a lot of hype in this pedal because a certain few use it at certain churches like Bethel. I probably shouldn't have said that. I love Bethel, by the way. I'm not dissing on anyone. It's just funny how the market can change depending on who's playing what gear. Honestly, if you guys are on the fence and you're looking at getting the Kilt version 1 versus the version 2, if you're using it the way I am, where you're going to use the red remote to boost it, just to make it have more gain, there's no reason you need the 1. Yes, the 1 has a little more of an open brighterness, but you can make up for that by turning the tone knob up on the version 2, and you can make it brighter. See, now they're both pretty similar in brightness. For me, I love portability. If I can get the same pedal but get it smaller, and if only like 5% of it is changed, maybe tonally, that works for me. I think it's like a difference of less than 5%, to be honest. If you could find a version 1 for maybe $300, I think it's worth maybe paying for that, just because you're getting like 2 pedals in one. But for the price they're going for right now of like $500 or $600, I personally couldn't justify it. But I think the version 2 sounds great. I'm gonna keep that one. I'm gonna sell the version 1. They're both great. I'm not saying the version 1 sucks. They're both really good. I'd say either one you'd be fine to keep. Last thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna slam them with an external boost just to test out how they handle, if they change tones at all. I like to throw boosts into overdrives and see how they respond. That's it, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. See ya.